Hello, everyone. I'm Andrew, and I'm here with my good friend Sam. He is a rock star in commercial real estate, and wanted to bring this video to you today to share his experience of the time he spent with me in my mining group. And so, just want to introduce Sam to everybody. Sam, if you don't mind, can you share where you're from, what you do, and any other information you want to share with the people that are watching this?
Sure, absolutely, Andrew. Thanks for having me. My name is Sam Ivy. I am born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia. I live in North Georgia mountains these days with my wife. I am a commercial real estate broker and have been since around 2006. Since probably 2010, have specialized primarily in single tenant net lease retail properties. Prior to that, I sold all kinds of commercial real estate, ranging from multifamily to raw land to shopping centers, what have you. But long about the time, post recession kicked in and a lot of fallout was happening. My family and myself got heavily involved in single tenant retail, and that's been my specialty pretty much ever since then, and still is to this day. Other than that, I've also been a life insurance broker in a past life. I have owned bars, restaurants, and music venues here in the Atlanta area. And these days, I'm primarily a real estate broker and a golfer.
Fantastic, man. That's a great introduction. So tell me, what kind of so the real estate you're interested in, what is your price range that you like to go for? Like, as far as what kind of deal range do you look for, and like what cap rates are you looking to buy in triple net lease real estate?
So generally speaking, the majority of the types of properties that we have purchased that are single tenant triple net have been everything from Dollar General type properties to bank branches to automotive repair shops like a Christian Brothers Automotive to Napa Auto Parts, Walgreens drugstores, Rite Aid drugstores, sit-down casual restaurants like an Applebee's, things of that nature, quick service restaurants like Taco Bell's, Pizza Hut, etc. And generally speaking, I would say that the majority of those types of properties fall somewhere between the $1 to $3 million price range, typically. They can certainly, a well-situated Walgreens in a really high-volume area can be much more expensive than that. But for the most part, our deals are $1 to $3 million. Back around 2010, when we were experiencing the fallout from the recession, we were able to acquire properties at ridiculous cap rates that we haven't seen since. 10, 11, 12 caps with brand new 20-year triple net leases on them, and that sort of thing. Going on into 2015-16, we were buying Dollar Generals in, say, the 7.5 cap range, and still able to make good money and hold them and collect decent cash flow and turn around and sell them a few years later and make a nice profit and 1031 exchange them into other types of properties of similar value and quality. These days, as Andrew and I have discussed recently, things are a little slow with the way interest rates are, and the fact that it seems like some of the pain from some of the economic fallout that's happening hasn't quite kicked in yet. We're a little bit on the slow side, so we're in a wait and see scenario. We've got some powder, dry powder, ready to fire when the deals present themselves, and so we're just kind of sitting on the sidelines for the most part, waiting to see what transpires and in general managing the current portfolio we already have, in our stable.
That's great, man. So you have a bunch of challenges, like you said. So you're sitting on a bunch of cash, and obviously you own physical gold and silver, so you understand the reasoning for owning gold and silver in real estate. What would you say your goal over the next, let's say, few years is to wait to shit hits the fan, right? and then scoop in when deal flow comes back to you, basically, right?
That's exactly right. Until we see that the deals present themselves, which we have yet to see, we're just kind of in a holding pattern. And that's with professional business. That's with our family business on the whole. But from a personal standpoint, I got involved with you because I wanted to diversify into some other areas that I thought there was tremendous opportunity. And having followed you for a number of years, even before you were heavily involved in this aspect of the mining and the natural resources and what have you, a lot of what you said, both from an economic and political perspective, made sense to me. And that's why I started following you years ago. And when you started talking about the opportunities that existed in the mining and the precious metal, natural resource scenario, it just clicked. And I realized that was a direction that I needed to head with my personal investments.
That's a great point. And yeah, we've known each other for years now, right? So you followed me.
I think I was thinking about it the other day, and I think I started following you, and I didn't know you personally, but I started following you on Facebook back when I think you still lived in Delaware or something like that.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then I moved to Texas. Yeah.
Yes, and then to Texas. Yes.
Now,
exactly.
now I'm jet setting around the world right now.
Correct. Yep.
But so it's important that you recognize. Okay, so you're a very smart guy. You realized that you needed to cover your ass because your ass was hanging out the window, ready for somebody to kick it. You needed some sort of insurance policy against a huge downturn. You needed another way to make money while the market is kind of like in a limbo zone, right? So, we talked about this for a while, and because the market, the precious metals / natural resources market is probably the worst it's been in 40 years. It doesn't take a genius to be able to see that, right? But you need to have the discernment to be like, okay, I have this amount of capital, I'm going to deploy it into this, and this. So anybody can see something's going to happen, but not everybody can allocate properly, right? So, so you have a track record of success in commercial real estate. And you're one of the guys that I've been wanting to interview for you for a while already, because I think everybody that watches this will benefit from your experience. Plus, they'll get insight to other things that they might not have thought about commercial real estate, or the kind of stuff that you're doing, which is good because in our group it's kind of like a mix of everybody, right? We've got super experienced real estate guys. We've got really young guys, and it's a little bit of everybody in between,
We do. Yep. Yeah, so we've got guys that are in self-storage, guys that are in multifamily. You're in hard money lending. I mean, just it runs the gamut.
Absolutely. So, man, you kind of touched on it before, but so what made you decide to pull the trigger after talking to me? Because obviously you already owned some physical metal, but what made you what pulled at your gut, just I gotta do this, because a lot of people watching this are kind of either on the fence or they've never even thought about it before, right? So whatever you share can help people that are watching.
Well, I would say the answer to that is I was already very heavily exposed to commercial real estate. Even within what we own in commercial real estate, we diversify in that realm, of course, as best we can within the single tenant niche, so to speak. But and then, of course, I had my own personal investments. I've got a Merrill Lynch stock portfolio that has nothing to do with natural resources and mining and things of that nature. That's more of a growth portfolio, if you will. That's pretty conservative. But when I started listening to what you were talking about as it relates to the fact that the whole mining, natural resource, precious metal industry is so undervalued, And the fact is, we know that all these things are finite resources. There's only so much of it out there, and it's always going to be needed on some level. Obviously technology will obviate the need for some things, but not everything by any means. And the fact that I saw when you started talking about this, how much upside potential when we're talking about various companies that had the ability to 50 times, 100 times, 200 times themselves over the next, 5, 6, 7, 10 years, what have you. I realized it was a direction I needed to diversify into, but I also didn't have the expertise to know how to do that. I don't study this industry the way that you do. I've learned a heck of a lot more about it now, having joined the mastermind group and following our chats and what have you, and everything that you post. But it was a turnkey opportunity for me to get involved in what you were doing and literally have you coach me into how to set up my portfolio.
That's great, man. I will correct you though. There's only probably a small, maybe few companies that can get to those type of returns. I'd say that the average is probably anywhere from 3 to maybe 10. Now, I'm not guaranteeing, and 10x or whatever. Is it possible to get 100x? Absolutely. It's happened 3 times in history. There's been 3 bull markets since the 70s, and so. Is it possible to get such a massive return? Absolutely. There's companies that guys have bought for 40 cents that went up to 60 cents, $60 a share. So it's completely possible to have home runs like that. But the average, for me, when I looked at this, I wanted something with above average returns. I wanted something that I could remove the risk as much as possible, because if you look at it, the mining companies have been beat up so much. There's a limited downside, but there's a big upside. So the risk to reward is in favor of mining, whereas the real estate, there's a very tiny upside, but there's a huge downside right now. So it's the opposite. So that's why I'm trying to get people out of the real estate mindset and into the bigger picture. Be a contrarian. Be a value investor. Look for where there's opportunity, not just focus, tunnel vision. I'm real estate guy. No, spread out, right? And look at the forest. Look at all the things that are available.
Yep.
Also, I wanted to say, Sam, is that there might be a few people watching this that might think I'm full of shit, or I don't know what I'm talking about, or I'm just I don't, I'm not what I say I am. Can you talk to people like that? You've talked to me long, you've been in the group now for almost 2 years. Please share your personal experience and what it's like working with me one-on-one.
I get, again, for the price of admission, the value that I think we get out of your mastermind group far exceeds the cost of the initial sign up. I feel like I'm getting expert guidance and, again, a turnkey opportunity to create a portfolio that I would not otherwise know how to construct myself, in addition to continuing to build it, continuing to manage it. And I'm, pretty much on a daily basis, we're getting information from you and from our colleagues within the group itself that I'm not seeing anywhere else, that I'm not, I might see it, on a macro scale here or there, but, we're really drilling down into a very detailed way about this particular industry and these particular companies that I can't access that information anywhere else. It's a very specific, value-oriented opportunity.
That's great, man. I appreciate that. The other cool thing is that we're such a cool group now. We're actually expanding. So the more we expand, the more people we're all like-minded. Also, we're free capitalists, free market capitalists, libertarian-minded, business guys, family people, right? Like we're all kind of the same the same kind of mindset. And so the type of things that are happening in the group now is if somebody needs something, they can just ask, and then they'll get their. It doesn't have to be mining related. It could be real estate related. I mean, one of my partners is in the group, and if somebody needs equity, my guy can provide all the equity, right? So it's like, there's people with deal flow, there's people with money, there's people with expertise. It's kind of like its own ecosystem, basically. So it's not just mining. It's kind of like I try to make it fit everything. We're talking about the economy. I'm sharing charts, raw data that you hear before it even hits the news.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And to your point, yeah, it literally has become a referral network of sorts in regards. I mean, we had somebody the other day asking for a vendor referral for something, related to real estate. I had another guy in our group who is actually a computer programmer, but involved in real estate, reach out to me, hoping that I could kind of bird dog looking for deals for him, that kind of thing, in the Atlanta market. And we're all kind of chit chatting back and forth with each other all the time. May or may not be mining related, as you said. And like you said, yeah, everybody is like-minded. You're not seeing a bunch of liberal socialists in this group by any means whatsoever.
I think I pushed them away. They don't even
No.
They would look at one of my memes and run away screaming.
Yeah, they do. They block you immediately.
Exactly. So, man, since you've been with me, you've learned a shit ton of stuff that you probably never heard about before.
Right.
So what is the most useful thing that you've heard from me, or the coolest thing that you've heard from me that you've been able to be like, you know what, like, this is real, like I can implement this, and this is helpful for me in my life or in my business or in my investing. Like, what's one thing that you can think of that you've learned from me, like either it be when it comes to the fake green energy shit, or
that's what I was going to say, actually. I love that we're constantly being pushed this agenda about the green energy stuff, whether it's electric vehicles or wind energy or solar energy or what have you. And I love that you blow the cover off of all that stuff, or climate change. That's another great one. And I love that you expose a lot of the truth about what really is going on there, and a lot of the waste that actually comes along with the supposed green energy that's not green at all. But that's one aspect of it. But then the other thing that I find incredibly interesting is when you are reporting on the discoveries that the mining companies make. I mean, I never even, before I got in this group, I never even thought about the fact that there are companies out there on a daily basis constantly looking for these natural resources and finding them. Not everybody's finding them, but every once in a while you report some pretty incredible discoveries.
The cool thing is, in a normal mining market, right? In a normal market, when there's good news that comes out from a mining company, it should increase the stock price, 20, 50, 100%. Today, you're lucky if you get 2 to 5% move in the stock price.
Right.
See, the value from an exploration company comes from their discoveries.
Right.
If it's a great drill hole result, that increases the value, because they can show people, hey, look, they can show the market, hey, look, we can increase our resource total, and we can move this forward as they do a feasibility study, and we can move this forward to becoming a mine at some point in the future. And as they move, the closer it moves to a mine, the more valuable that company can become. And then it becomes either a takeover target or a joint venture target, or the company just withholds all that pressure, and then eventually they either become a mine themselves, or they just exit completely and get bought out. So every single day, there's companies in our master list,
right,
getting raw data, bang, bang, bang. And so I provide, if something is like fantastic, I don't like, if I was to tell you guys every single day, every single drill result, you'd go crazy. I only push like the most fantastic result and, every so often in there, because otherwise you would just be overwhelmed with all the data. It's a data intensive, it's a research intensive position. What I do, I'm constantly reading, I'm constantly listening to reports, listening to interviews. I'm going to their websites, going direct to right straight to the horse's mouth. I'm getting the raw data, and I'm trying to use my analysis, so the gifts that God gave me to break down, is this a company worth owning or not? And so if it passed my, sniff test, then I'll do a paper napkin analysis on it. And if I like it, then I'll go through and I'll see, okay, are the insiders buying? Are the insiders selling? Is there debt? Do they have cash? So there's a bunch of steps that goes through before I'm even interested in the company,
Right.
When I buy it, it means that I love it and that I'm happy owning it for at least 3 to 5 years, So that's the kind of methodology that I do when I'm looking for these things,
Yep, that makes sense. And I'll add to the other. Obviously, you advise us on what we should be buying, but I've also noticed that when you see a company's not heading in the direction that you think it should be, you immediately let us know that maybe we should get rid of it and stock up on something else or shift it to something else. And obviously, that's incredibly helpful as well.
Yeah, because things change.
Absolutely.
There's nothing that remains constant.
No.
So if a story changes, and it doesn't make me happy, I'm happy to exit.
Right.
Like for example, I owned. We had a few lithium companies on our list, and I realized that I didn't want to own lithium going forward, because I started seeing that I didn't want to contribute to something I didn't fully believe in. Now, I believe in hydrogen cars, but I don't believe in electric cars.
Right.
So for me, I exited the lithium position just a few days ago. Now, like, everybody has different price levels of when they enter, but the lowest price that I got that lithium company for was 30 cents. And I think we sold it for 70 or 71 cents a share. So that comes out to 133% return and less than a year. So, and that money can be redeployed into something better. And so we already found 2 or 3 different new companies to put it into, But yeah, Sam, it's like you said, man, we don't just sit in our hands in that group. We're actively looking constantly. And you know what? There's guys in there now. They're active. They're doing stuff that I'm doing. They're out there looking as well, and they're posting in the group. Hey, did you see this company? Did you see this company? I'm like, wow, that's great. Makes me happy because I'm not the only one doing it now.
Absolutely, yeah.
So it makes me happy. Now, not everybody needs to be an expert at this. I had one of my buddies yesterday. He's like, yeah, I'm not passionate about this, but you are. And that's why I'm happy to work with you, because I know you're passionate about this. I know this is your thing. And, and you don't have to be an expert, but you just need a basic level of understanding so that you're not being scammed, and that you're not getting into something that you shouldn't get into, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And frankly, a lot of people are just busy with their lives and their businesses, and they don't have time to dedicate to the research and the study that you put into it. And so we can rely on you to that extent to help us do the homework and the legwork.
Yeah, because your highest and best use, Sam, is making millions of dollars, right? So your main bread and butter business is your highest and best use of your time.
Right.
And so you have to allocate your resources to what is bringing you the most, like the most bang for your buck. And so for you, you are, you're happy to know that you're in a market where we're almost at the complete bottom. I don't know if there's any more bottom left.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I'm trying to tell people, don't try to time this market. Don't try to be like, oh, I'm going to get in when it's at the bottom. Don't do that.
Right.
Don't do that. I mean, there's not much left. It's like trying to catch a plane, and you're like, oh, I'll go to the airport 30 minutes before the flight. Don't.
Yeah.
No.
It's not going to happen. Especially not going to happen here in Atlanta.
Oh, I love it, man. So, man, I obviously, so we talked about, why you kind of decided to work with the group. Is there anything about me that you liked in particular that, like, once you talked to me, like, kind of checked a box for you? Can you share with the audience something that you liked about me that you like, that something clicked in your mind? Like, yeah, this is a good guy.
Well, you're a straight shooter. You don't pull any punches. If you don't agree with somebody, you tell them straight up. You're not afraid to call somebody on their BS if you feel like they're spreading misinformation or don't understand a topic they're talking about. And you don't do it in a mean way. You just do it in a direct way. And I appreciate that. It cuts through a lot of false information and false ideas. And I've always seen you behave that way, and it just gets straight to the point in the heart of the matter. And I appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate that too. Like, it's hard to build a reputation. It takes a long time to build a reputation. So for me, I'm always thinking about it. I'm always trying to be like, your reputation can be destroyed in a second, right?
Sure.
And so for me, I want to give until I can't give anymore. Like, that's my heart. I'm not the kind of person that will stab somebody in the back just for money. I'm not the kind of person that will not give value in return. Like, for me, I feel that the kind of people, there's so many people out there that are just out for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And they will stab you in the back for a penny.
Oh, yeah.
And those people, man, I swear, there's so many out there.
There are. No question about it. Especially, having real estate backgrounds, we've seen all the gurus and all the guys that have the programs that are going to make you money.
And I can understand why people have they're so skeptical about, like, somebody like me, like some random guy talking about mining stocks. They're like, what's this asshole talking about? Like, there's so many people there's so much information out there, right? So there's so much out there. It's hard to, like, kind of filter out what's real and what's not, and who's legit and who's not. Like, it's such a time consuming, and it's getting worse, right? With you're just getting bombarded with information as soon as you open your phone every single day.
Every day, nonstop.
Nonstop, exactly. So,
between Facebook, between X, between Telegram, Signal, it's all coming at you from every direction.
You're not kidding, man. So tell me, man, when do you have, like, goals to retire? Like, do you have any plans like that in the next like period of time? Like, what's your upcoming goals look like?
I don't think I ever plan on ever fully just retiring and not having any form of work going on, if you will. I'm already at the point in my life where I have passive income, which allows me to be pretty financially comfortable. But and I can kind of be flexible with my own schedule, which to me, it's not about how much money you have, it's about how much freedom you have. I enjoy having the freedom to do what I want when I want. But at the same time, I don't ever want to become somebody that just has nothing to do or has no purpose in life on a daily basis. I feel like that's when you have no purpose in life and no direction anymore. I feel like that's when you really start to waste away. So I always want to have something I'm working towards, whether it's real estate, whether it's investing, and doing everything I can to ensure my financial independence long term. I think I'll always be doing that on some level.
That's great. That's very powerful. What advice would you give to somebody like younger guys watching this, or people that are wanting to follow in your footsteps, but they don't have the pathway figured out yet? What kind of advice would you give to those people, and give them some golden nuggets from your life that you think that would help them get to where they need to be, if that makes sense?
Sure. I would say in both of my primary career choices, which the first one was becoming a life insurance broker, which I became successful at, and also being a real estate broker. In both cases, I surrounded myself with people that had a lot more experience than I did, and that to some degree were able to act as a mentor to me, and that I was able to work alongside to learn the industry, to learn the sales processes, to understand how to generate business in those industries, and ultimately become successful long term, so that I didn't have to depend on them for the rest of my life, and that I could go out there and do my own thing. I started out with commercial real estate. I started out with a firm called Sperry Van Ness, which is based out of Irvine, California. But it was an office here in Atlanta, and I worked there for 3 or 4 years, and worked in a team and worked on all kinds of different transactions and deals. Like I said, from raw land to multifamily to retail to office, did a little bit of everything. So I was able to get a taste of multiple niches in commercial real estate, and what different types of deals looked like, and how the transactions worked, and what have you. So that by the time I was able to sit for my broker exam, I was able to go out on my own and do it myself and not rely on a firm. I could go form my own firm and do my own thing and be independent. But yeah, education. I also became a CCIM in the process. And that's, if folks don't know what that is, it's a CCIM designation in commercial real estate. Is basically like getting a master's degree in commercial real estate. And it takes several years to earn it, and multiple thousands of dollars. And that education, I think in and of itself, helped advance my career considerably as well. Not to mention the fact that you're now part of an organization that's relatively elite in the commercial real estate world, and you're able to network with colleagues that are on your level.
Fantastic, man. That's so much value in what you just said. I think it's important, like you said, like for my aspect, for my journey, I need from the first day I was in real estate, I had a mentor.
Yep.
I think you need mentors throughout your whole life, because you're always upgrading to the next level, right? You're not just staying at one spot. So in your life, I think you always need to follow, like if someone is doing what you want to do, follow that person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Right? So
no question.
Like for me, like you're a big person that I really enjoy listening to, because you have expertise that is far superior to mine. And so like I love listening to your opinion on every type of commercial real estate stuff. And so for me, you're invaluable to me. And so the biggest thing that I'm just trying to say is that in the mining side, there's people who listen to me because I know more in that aspect than, than that person, right? But that doesn't mean that we're not any less intelligent. We're just sharing knowledge, right?
We all have individual expertise in different areas, and yeah, exactly. I rely on you for that. If I wanted to, talk to an expert about self-storage, I'd go talk to Fernando in our group.
Like, and then go talk to Matt, as well.
Him too.
Capital,
Yeah.
Or my buddy Neil, he's one of the best producing realtors in Delaware,
Yes.
And there's so many guys in there, and they've all got their own background, their own, they're all started like, and they're all like self-made kind of people, and that's great. And that's what, my goal is to take people like that and just surround myself with as many people, because it gives me so much experience, right? Because like I can reach out to this person, and have so many different knowledge bases. It's the ultimate mastermind.
Absolutely.
And we're just beginning. We're just getting started, fellas.
Right. Right.
Guys and gals. My goal, Sam, here's the bad thing, man. One thing that I want to share with you.
Okay.
My group will get super popular when silver hits 100 an ounce. But it's going to be too late.
Yeah.
You know why? Because a lot of people, I'd say like half or more, are FOMO traders, fear of missing out traders.
Yes.
They're the herd, and they chase the biggest, the new thing, the flavor of the month. And guess what? 2 years from now, everybody's going to be in mining stocks, man. Everybody's going to be like, but guess what? They're only going to get minimal returns, if any. All the returns will already have sold to them by that point.
Well, I know you hate crypto in general, but it's kind of like the people that bought Bitcoin after it already,
Man, you bought it at 65,000? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, man. That's a beating right there. But so it's back at 25,000 or something.
Yes.
Look, I'll tell you this, man. The type of person I want to hear, like the person that I want this to resonate with, is people that they see value. They're a contrarian. Meaning they know that something's valuable when the herd isn't there, and that's the time to enter. When people hate it, that's when you should love it.
Yeah.
And when people love it, that's when you should sell it.
Yes.
Like if no one else listens to anything else that I say, that's what I want you to do. Right? Just focus on those two things.
Reminds me of the famous Warren Buffett quote about fear and greed, right?
Exactly. And we're going to find out who's been swimming naked, pretty soon.
Yes. Yeah.
So, man, just wrapping everything up. I really, really appreciate your insights, and as a person, you inspire me a lot, man, because you're doing things at a level where it's you're doing amazing kind of deals. You've got your own family office. You've created the life that you want, right? And I've created the life that I want.
Right.
But what I'm just trying to say is that for me, once like you were mentioning, it's kind of like the deals aren't there yet, but once they return, I'm gonna be jumping in with you, man.
Yeah, I hear you.
Because
Absolutely.
For me, I think triple net and especially creative kind of real estate is going to be the way forward, especially in the kind of post-recession kind of economy that we're going to have. Is going to be so rocky, and so I think that's coming. But wrapping up, man, what would you say to people that are sitting on the fence, that are maybe have talked to me once or twice, They're in the free group. They've got capital, but they just aren't sure. Like, what would you say to those people, man? Like, what would you say to the people, like, to inspire them to take action?
Okay, well, I mean, I'll share my personal experience, and that's that I when I was following you in general on Facebook and in the free group, I was fascinated with what you had to say, and it all made lots of sense to me. But one of the things that initially held me back was that I thought I needed to have $250,000 to start the portfolio. I thought I needed to have 6 figures to start. And then finally one day you said to me, you know what? No, you don't. You said, you got 20 grand, start with 20 grand and build from there. And so I would say to somebody that's sitting on the sidelines because they think they don't have enough money to get a portfolio started, start with whatever you've got. Starting with, if you've got money sitting in the bank that's doing nothing, or sitting in an investment that's earning less than inflation, you're losing money anyway. Just get started and start building it. I'm still not to the level I want it to be, and I'm going to keep adding to it as time goes by. But it's a one-time cost to get into this thing, very minimal to keep it going. And Andrew's here, I mean, every day, adding value to your investment. And so are the rest of the people in the group. And then the other thing I'll add, Andrew mentioned, creating the life you want is, I think most of us are aspiring to that. And the other thing that's fun about following is Andrew is you get to see his world travels and his and the ways that he's creating the life that he wants, which is pretty unique compared to the way most people, especially us Americans, live, I would say. And I enjoy seeing that aspect of how he has crafted his life. And he seems to live a pretty fun one.
Man, that's so nice, man. Oh, it hits me like right here, bro. Thank you so much for that.
I'm serious. It's true.
No, man, you know what? It's I know it's from the heart. I know, and that's why it's so impactful for me. I wanted to make these videos to document like just exactly the kind of relationships that we have, like, because like some people don't get it. They think I'm like, it might not be real, but like, man, like the kind of relationships we have, second to none. I'm telling you, man, it's
right.
And guess what? Like, like I mentioned before, I realized that I have 2 small children, and that I wanted to make. I never had the kind of start to life that like some people have better starts than others, right? But I started from absolute nothing.
Yeah.
And so I don't want my children to have to experience the kind of mistakes and the delays and the trying to figure stuff out. I want them to stand on my shoulders. I want them to be able to advance what I've already figured out, so that they can, they have the freedom to choose whatever they want to do in life, but they'll have the ability to make money, and
right.
they'll be able to do better than what, whenever I could ever dream of.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's my passion. That's like what drives me every day. But not only that, man, but I honestly, what brings me so much pleasure and happiness is seeing other people succeed. Man, you have no idea. When someone messages me and tells me that I'm making a difference in their life, man, there's no money on earth that can make that feeling like it's priceless, And so it's really, really important to me. And, for me, it's like, I just want other people to experience that. I want them to feel what I feel on a daily basis.
Right.
And you know what? It's easier to create the life of your dreams than you think. Like I just told you before we jumped on this call, I'm going to go live in a place for $400 a month.
Yeah.
And then there's guys in California paying $3,000-$4,000 a month. Like, what the hell? It's so easy to just like exit the rat race just by moving.
And you should add to that $3,000-$4,000 a month to live in a dump.
and to be surrounded with the most beautiful people, right?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Like so it's like the biggest thing, man, is like you can if there's a will, there's a way. And you know what? Like during this period where everybody's like we're heading into recession, I would be if I were other people with shit high bills, I'd be doing everything possible to figure out how can I cut my expenses to live well below my means so I can ride out this coming storm, make money, and then completely exit. Like, because we have several guys that are still, in 9 to 5s. Like, I've got one of my good buddies. We did an interview with him. He's transitioning completely into multifamily, but he's got his safety net, which is fantastic because that he doesn't have that pressure of what will happen if my real estate collapses, right, or something bad happens,
right.
So but yeah, man, like just to wrap things up, it's important to me that we share this with people. And you have a different reach than me. You have a different circle. I have a different circle. So like this is like I want to make a ripple effect. So I'm sending out a frequency to people. This is like the law of attraction. I believe in that completely.
Absolutely. Yes.
So Sam, how do people get in touch with you, man? How do people that may want to do deals with you or bring you deals, or maybe if you want to bring somebody under your wing, and then you can charge them whatever you want. Like, how do they get in touch with you?
I mean, honestly, I don't. My company doesn't even have a website, believe it or not. But because I've never needed one, to be honest, because I do everything through networking and referrals for the most part. But I mean, if somebody wants to look me up, I'm easy to find on Facebook, probably more than anything, just under my own name, Samuel Ivy. And my email address is always open, ivysam@gmail.com. Pretty easy. Other than that, I'm very active in your group, both on Signal and both the investing main channel as well as the mastermind channel. And they're reading it just about every day. But yeah, anybody can feel free to reach out even if they just have questions or curious about single tenant retail real estate or anything else real estate related. Happy to help.
That's great, man. So I'll tell people how to reach out to me. My website's andrewmcdaniels.com. I have a frequently asked questions section. So you start there. That's basically the first place to learn about me and what I do. I have a free Facebook group. I've got a dedicated Instagram page at Mining Investing Education, I've got several YouTube pages. I'm on Twitter, or X as they call it now, at Andrew McDaniels. On Facebook, or FBI book is whatever, I've been in Facebook jail so much, because of all my memes and stuff. But yeah, like just look me up through social media. You can message me directly if you want to get in touch. There's no obligation to have an hour or two call with me. Start in a free group, then transition into our paid service if it resonates with you. If it doesn't, then you know what? There's no, you're just investing your time. You don't have to work with me. You can work completely on your own. It's completely up to you. But why would you do that if you have me as a resource and the kind of people like Sam in the group that are already in the trenches, and we are actively all together doing the same thing? And the bigger our group gets, the more intel we can get, which is great. But yeah, like that's in a nutshell how everything works. Sam, I just want to say thank you so much for spending your time with us. I know you're a very busy man. I know you're always, you know, trying to improve your golf swing. You're enjoying life, and you are having so much. You know, you are basically enjoying the fruits of your labor. So I really appreciate you coming on from the
Thanks,
bottom of
Andrew.
my heart. Thanks a
Oh, you're
lot.
welcome. I'm happy to be on. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you to everybody who watched this video. Again, subscribe to this channel for more content. If you like it, give me a thumbs up. And if you have any questions, you can leave a comment below and I'll get back to you in the video. Thank you very much, Sam. Take care, buddy.
See you, bud. Thanks.